whatoplay presents the top 15 free Android and iOS games of October arranged by Play Scores. The Play Score is an average of gamer and critic ratings. When a game only reaches the required number of critic or gamer reviews, it receives a critic score or a gamer score. We are starting our list at number 15 with Greenskin Dungeon Master. Roguelike RPGs are taking over the mobile, and our list starts with Superplanet's own fantasy RPG. Enter the world of Greenskin and roam around their many dungeons along with your party of adventurers. It's not exactly unique in any of its mechanics. Organize your group and earn coins by defeating the many monsters ahead. And that goes for its pretty run-of-the-mill aesthetics. But despite being unspectacular, Greenskin Dungeon Master is effective. With all its simple gameplay, it's fun enough to keep you scouring through their dungeons for hours on end. Earn coins, defeat baddies, and do it all over again with a gamer score of an 8.6. Number 14 goes to AFK Cat's Idle Arena. Another RPG for the books, but this time with a whole lot more battles and slightly less agency for you, the player. Good news for people with busy schedules and an itch for feline fighting. Recruit a bunch of cats into your group and help them fight bigger cats by leveling up their skills. To make things interesting, AFK Cats also has an elemental layer that adds a dash of strategy into the mix. This means you'll have to switch out your litter according to their elemental strengths and the weaknesses of the opponents. All of that is presented in the game's quirky but clean cartoon aesthetics. It receives a gamer score of an 8.69. 13th place goes to Frostfall. The Battle Royale genre exploded last year with the release of PUBG, and it's trickled into every corner of the market ever since. On the mobile side for this month, we have a charming riff on battle royales. While everyone else has concentrated on realistic first-person gameplay, Frostfall takes on a more fantasy-based top-down approach. Using controls comparable to most mobile MOBAs, Frostfall challenges to survive the frost by eliminating opponents in real-time battles. Each game is a burst of excitement, with matches spanning as little as 5 minutes. Frostfall even has the looks for it thanks to its lush maps and interesting characters. Its Android counterpart may not be doing as well with complaints of black screens, but its iOS version is thriving with a gamer score of an 8.69. 12th on our list is MONOLISK. Trickster Art's game looks like something you'd get if Monument Valley became an RPG. That is to say, MONOLISK looks like one gorgeous-looking game. It perfectly balances minimalist character design with detailed maps and sleek UI. On top of their beautiful visuals, MONOLISK also works pretty well. Part dungeon crawler, part dungeon builder, there's a lot of things you can do in the world of MONOLISK. You can add to their collection of pretty maps, or go straight into dungeon crawling with your party of 5 heroes that come in the form of cards that you can craft and collect. MONOLISK isn't perfect with its slow progression and reliance on player-based content. With these polarizing opinions, it's earned a gamer score of an 8.77 on the iOS and a 7.81 on the Android. 11th place goes to Rolling Domino. The mobile is home to a host of different kinds of games that feel more like an ad player game than an actual game. Unfortunately, this might fall into that category. Rolling Domino is more than straightforward. The whole objective of the game is to push a ball into elaborately arranged dominoes to achieve the proverbial domino effect. There isn't really much of a challenge involved since all you have to do is to hit that first tile. Sure, there is the occasional obstruction and some effect of bouncing the ball off a wall, but it doesn't really level up the difficulty in any way. On the other hand, the arrangements are decently pretty and colorful. A lot of people seem to be into that, and that was enough to earn it gamer scores of 8.8 on the iOS and 8.6 on the Android. And we're now at number 10 with Empire: Age of Knights. Chivalry is alive and well in this entry to Good Game Studios' Empire series. The Age of Knights feels a lot like Clash of Clans with a new coat of paint. Instead of the Vikings, you manage a growing town in the Middle Ages. Build structures, craft resources, and turn your small village into a sprawling empire that's capable of quashing the orc threat. Just like the feudal arrangement of the old, you're also in charge of keeping your townsfolk from harm. Fortify your defenses and amass armies to withstand attacks from the outside. It's still your standard free-to-play system though, so you'll have to be careful about their optional in-app purchases. It has a gamer score of an 8.8 on the Android and an 8.73 on the iOS. At number 9, we have Judge Dredd Crime Files. Mega City 1 Street Judge has invaded the Android this month with his brand of card-based combat. Judge Dredd has come a long way since his 2000 debut, and No Yetis Allowed has managed to translate Judge Dredd's no-nonsense comic book atmosphere to the portable game format. Dive into Mega City 1 and bring their punks and mutants to justice using your fists or your various apprehension tactics. It's considered a strategy for a reason, and that's because crime files will get tough. There's a lot of content to go through too, but luckily their comprehensive tutorial is there to show you the ropes of Judge Dredd's sweet street justice. It received a gamer score of an 8.9. 8th place goes to Potion Punch 2 Fantasy Cooking Adventures. This sequel to the Potion Punch adventure is here, and it's time to get cooking once more. For any fans of modern cartoons like Gravity Falls, there's something very comforting about Potion Punch's art style. In Potion Punch 2, there's more of the same potion concoction and culinary oddities, as well as some other fantastical merchandise.
Hey!
Hello! Woohoo!
Play the role of a traveling shoekeeper and roam around their world, serving up patrons with chosen tonics, filling up bellies with tasty treats, and packing inventories with magical trinkets. There's a lot of fun to be had here without much of the fuss of ads and microtransactions. For that, it gets a gamer score of a 9.15 on the Android and an 8.79 on the iOS. Lucky number 7 goes to Armajet. There is another contender in the market for multiplayer shooters on the mobile. Armajet isn't content with becoming another in the sea of FPS battle royales. Instead, it paved its own way with its own brand of sci-fi platform shooting. Equipped with a jetpack and your chosen weapon of destruction, enter the arena as an armed fighter and rack up kills in a variety of game modes and maps. Whether it's volcanic fires or freezing temperatures, Armajet packs plenty of excitement in their frenzied and fast-paced firefights. Its leveling and reward system may use a bit of modifying. It's still pretty fun, if only for a few minutes a day. It has a gamer score of 9.75 on the iOS and a significantly lower 8.02 on the Android. At number 6 is Zombieland Double Tapper. Remember how Zombieland was a fun movie? Turns out it's a pretty fun game too. Veering away from the usual zombie shooter tropes, Zombieland Double Tapper turns apocalypse survival into a challenge of management and dexterity. It features some of the characters we loved from the film, turning them into heroes you can upgrade and strengthen to fight against the hordes of zombies ahead. But aside from them, you'll also have the power to help them out with your tapping skills. There's a lot of upgrades and equipment to think about, so you might have to be careful around their microtransactions. Otherwise, just like in the movie, it's a great parody of zombie tropes with a lot of quips and banter thrown in. It receives a gamer score of a 9.76 on the iOS and 8.2 on the Android. Fifth place goes to American Dad: Apocalypse Soon. From the silver screen to the small screen, American Dad gives us their own view of the apocalypse. Although it takes pages off of Fallout Shelter's playbook, Apocalypse Soon also adds another layer of gameplay with a sprinkle of idle combat. Manage the goings-on of the Rogers in your vault, and with success in that regard, follow success in the battles to come. It's not something you'd expect from the American Dad show, but it definitely has its merits as a free-to-play title. It receives gamer scores of 9.78 on the iOS and 9.4 on the Android. Fourth place is the King of Fighters ALLSTAR. The King of Fighters series has undergone a few changes to readjust their illustrious past with today's tech. One of these changes is their entrance to the mobile. King of Fighters ALLSTARS isn't like the KOF you're used to. Instead of the usual 1v1s, ALLSTAR feels more like a beat-em-up. Enter their campaigns as your chosen fighter and bring down all the enemies you face using each of their unique moves and skills. With an expansive roster of new and old fighters, ALLSTARS is packed with a variety as you experiment with each of their unique strengths. Its iOS version seems to be working well enough with a gamer score of a 9.78, but its Android counterpart is struggling with frame rate issues, which earned it a low gamer score of a 7.4. Third on our list goes to Disney Princess Majestic Quest. Our favorite Match 3 puzzles are evolving. Instead of just one puzzle after another, now we're getting stories in between too. With this new game, we get to enjoy traditional Match 3 gameplay along with stories of our favorite Disney princesses. Majestic Quest weaves a tale which involves a mysterious phenomenon haunting their otherwise dreamy lives. Use your puzzle-making skills and help rebuild the homes of Jasmine, Ariel, Belle, and so much more. Match 3 with a Disney twist. It receives a gamer score of a 9.79 on the iOS and a 9 on the Android. We're down to our second place with Digimon ReArise. Digimon has always been about friendships that we make along the way, and that's what we're getting in this new Digimon game for the mobile. ReArise feels like a mix between traditional turn-based battles and visual novel-style storytelling. Play out a narrative that revolves an unexpected meeting with a Digimon called Harismon, who appeared in your smartphone from out of nowhere. While winning the fights is still a major part of the game, the story also highlights the conversations you have with Harismon, which ultimately contribute to their digivolution. A new Digimon title is always good news, receiving gamer scores of 9.79 on the iOS and 8 on the Android. And the best free Android and iOS game goes to Call of Duty Mobile. A very recent addition to our lists, Call of Duty Mobile has been the hot topic this month, especially for shooting fans the world over. It may have been a rocky launch with complaints of lags and bugs, but it still managed to amass over 35 million downloads in its first week. Call of Duty Mobile is a landmark for franchise as it both distills it into a portable format while also expanding it in new ways.
Reloading. Safe zone will collapse in 10 seconds.
One way it does that is with their extensive 100-player Battle Royale mode that lets players compete as solo players or with teams of 2 and 4. With the wide reaches of its parent franchise, many people are already speculating on its potential esports viability. The only game to receive scores from both gamers and critics, it also gets an official play score of an 8.96 on the iOS and an 8.66 on the Android.